Most people never realize how quickly they can turn everything around because they're stuck in the mindset that transformation takes forever. But it doesn't. 6 months. That is all it takes to completely change your life. Not years, not a lifetime. Just 6 months of focused effort, intense discipline, and unwavering commitment. You've already wasted more than 6 months doing things halfway, starting and stopping, waiting for motivation to hit, negotiating with comfort. The truth is, you don't need more time. You need to stop leaking your potential into distractions that never give anything back. Because while you're scrolling, hesitating, or replaying the same story in your head, someone else is rewriting theirs, and they're doing it with less time and more fire than you think you have. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This isn't about perfection, it's about precision. Small, deliberate acts carried out with intensity can reshape your reality faster than you believe. But that starts when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start becoming the kind of person who moves even when it's hard. And if what we're doing here speaks to something real in you, if these words are shaking something loose, there's a simple, free way to show you're with us. Hit that subscribe button. We're not here to motivate you for a few minutes. We're here to help you take your power back, fully, intentionally, and without apology. This isn't just a video. This is a decision point. Let's make the next 6 months count. So here's what no one tells you. 6 months of focused effort can outperform 6 years of half-hearted attempts. But it requires something rare: full alignment. Not just doing the right things, but becoming the kind of person who does them without second-guessing. Your habits, your thoughts, your environment, your discipline, everything has to move in the same direction, like a well-trained army marching under one command. And that command must come from you, not from motivation, not from fleeting inspiration, from a decision so clear, so firm, that the noise of hesitation can't drown it out. Why don't most people reach that level of clarity? Because they're divided, internally fragmented. One part of them wants greatness, another part wants rest, distraction, and comfort. One voice whispers about potential, another clings to old habits, to fears dressed as routines, and in that tug of war, energy leaks. You scroll when you should study, you eat junk when you promise discipline, you rationalize when you should move, you delay when the answer should be now. And bit by bit, your identity gets shaped not by who you want to become, but by who you keep choosing to be in moments of weakness. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." What does that mean here? It means the enemy isn't out there, it's in the blind spots. It's the patterns you don't question, the inner voices you confuse for truth, the pain you've made peace with simply because it's familiar. This 6-month transformation isn't just about working harder. It's about confronting the unconscious forces that quietly dictate your choices. Your procrastination isn't random. Your self-sabotage isn't an accident. They're habits of thought, built long ago, still running the show in the background. So how do you break them? Not gently, not someday, not when you feel ready. Now with fire, with brutal honesty, with the kind of radical self-awareness that refuses to flinch. You must look your defaults in the face, the excuses, the mental exits, the emotional dependencies, and strip them of the lies that make them comfortable. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But the examined one? That's where the real war begins. Because once you see what's been holding you back, you can't unsee it. The only thing left is what you choose to do with it. And that brings us to the next question. What happens when your excuses no longer work on you? Ask yourself, what have the last 6 months really looked like? Not through the lens of self-forgiveness, not through the haze of "I've been busy," but through the raw honesty of someone who's done pretending. Did you spend more time escaping your problems than solving them? Did Netflix get more hours than your goals? Did you find ways to delay the very things you claim you want, dressing up avoidance in the costume of just being realistic? Be brutally honest. How often did you lower your standards the moment discomfort knocked on your door and said, "Let's take it easy today"? And if you did, if that version of you has been in the driver's seat, how much longer are you going to let them steer? How many more days will you trade for temporary comfort, knowing full well they never come back? 6 months. That's your test. Not to invent a new identity, not to chase an image you saw online, but to return to yourself, to the version of you that existed before the world told you to play small, to blend in, to stop asking for more. That version didn't wait for permission. It didn't explain its hunger away. It moved, it created, it acted, and it's still in you, buried under layers of hesitation, but not gone. Carl Jung believed that wholeness is not achieved by cutting off parts of ourselves, but by integration. You don't need to become something you're not. You need to remember who you were before fear rewrote the script. But here's the catch. You don't get to remember without responsibility. You don't reclaim your power while blaming your past. So you take ownership. Not the comfortable kind, not the social media kind where you post a caption about owning your life and then do nothing different. I mean the kind that hurts, the kind that makes your stomach drop, the kind that leaves no one else to blame. If you're not where you want to be, it's not the algorithm's fault. It's not your toxic boss or your broken schedule. It's your decisions, your rituals, the comfort you chose over growth. The truth is painful, but it's clean. Unlike denial, which leaves a mess every time. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. You don't need more time. You need more intensity. The kind of commitment that makes distractions feel offensive. The kind of clarity that makes the old you feel foreign. When you build a life rooted in purpose, things that once felt irresistible start to lose their power. You no longer entertain anything that doesn't fit the identity you're building, not because you're forcing discipline, but because misalignment feels wrong. So let me ask you, what good is a goal without a system to hold it up? Most people love to dream. Few are willing to architect the day-to-day discipline that makes the dream real. And even fewer live that discipline when no one is watching. But that's the difference between growth and stagnation, between regret and pride. So stop asking, "What should I do?" That question assumes you're lost. Start asking the question that assumes your power. Who must I become to never need to ask this question again? Because once you become that person, the path reveals itself. The habits align. The excuses lose their volume, and the need to find motivation, it disappears entirely. But what kind of mindset does that kind of person operate from? This is the first shift, identity. Everything starts here, because when your identity upgrades, your habits don't need alarms or reminders. You don't have to convince yourself to show up. Showing up becomes as natural as breathing. It becomes you. This isn't some motivational fluff. This is neuroscience and philosophy agreeing for once. The brain clings to identity, and behavior follows belief. If you still think of yourself as undisciplined, your actions will subconsciously reinforce that label. But when you see yourself as someone who follows through, even when it's hard, you begin to act in alignment with that truth, almost automatically. That's why the Stoics were right when they said, "Don't waste time arguing what a good person is. Be one. Embody it." Plato taught that virtue is not something we inherit. but something we cultivate through repetition. When the standard becomes your nature, effort disappears. You no longer ask, "Should I?" You simply do. But here's where most people stall. They've upgraded the desire, not the identity. They want more, but they still see themselves as less. So let's get practical. Let's talk clarity. Not vague aspirations like, "I want to be successful," or "I want to be happier." That's noise. That's wallpaper thinking, pretty but useless. What does success look like for you? Feel like? Measure like? If you can't describe it, your mind can't pursue it. Do you want to lose 30 pounds? Say it. Don't hide behind, "I just want to get in shape." Do you want to build a six-figure business? Read 50 books this year. Sleep 8 hours a night. Spend more time with your kids. Whatever it is, name it, clarify it, quantify it. Because blurry goals lead to blurry effort, and blurry effort leads to nowhere. Aristotle said, "The soul never thinks without an image." If you can't picture your future, your mind won't move toward it. You must be able to see it so clearly that every part of you starts believing it's already on the way. But even clarity isn't enough. Here's the kicker. That goal, you have to reverse engineer it into daily execution. Not monthly intentions, not weekly bursts of motivation. Daily precision. What must happen today, exactly, to move 1 inch closer? One email, one workout, one uncomfortable conversation. And then you do it. No matter how you feel, no matter the weather, no matter if Mercury is in retrograde or your to-do list is giving you a panic attack. You don't wait to feel ready. You build your own internal climate. A system where discipline isn't something you chase, it's something you are. Because real discipline is forged in friction, not ease. Anyone can act when it's convenient. What defines you is what you do when it's not. So why do most people break down? Because the ego wants visible results, now. It craves validation like oxygen. But transformation doesn't work that way. It's quiet at first, invisible. It feels like nothing is changing, until one day, everything has. That's the paradox. You won't feel it happening while it's happening. So don't chase fireworks, chase consistency. That's where the power lives. That's where identity crystallizes. You know what destroys more dreams than failure ever could? Negotiation. That inner whisper. Maybe I'll skip today. It's not that urgent. I'll start fresh on Monday. Once that debate starts, it's already over. Because comfort is persuasive. It doesn't yell. It suggests. It offers softness when what you really need is steel. That's why the greats remove the option entirely. They decide once and then act forever. They don't revisit the commitment every morning. They live inside it. You think Marcus Aurelius opened his eyes each day and debated whether to embody virtue? Number, he understood the responsibility of his role, and he embodied it without asking for applause. Socrates didn't wait for the right moment to speak truth. He was truth in motion. Their actions weren't rooted in emotion, but in principle. So the real question becomes, what would your life look like if you stopped giving yourself a way out? Stop waking up wondering what to do. Instead, wake up remembering exactly who you are. Most people roll out of bed and immediately surrender to emotion, checking in with how they feel and deciding whether they're ready for the day ahead. But the truth is, life doesn't wait for you to feel inspired. It moves relentlessly forward, and if you hesitate, opportunities vanish. Aristotle put it simply, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your power doesn't lie in waiting for perfect conditions. It's revealed by acting when conditions feel far from perfect. When you act despite your feelings, when you choose discipline over comfort, something remarkable begins to happen. Your emotions begin to follow your actions rather than leading them. This subtle shift reshapes your identity. You become someone who moves purposefully, decisively, consistently. Action creates identity. Identity builds momentum. Momentum carries you forward, turning seemingly small daily victories into profound transformation. But how do you maintain momentum when life is so eager to distract you? Momentum, after all, is fragile. You protect it by guarding your time as though your very life depends on it, because it truly does. Consider the limited nature of your days and weeks. Every moment you surrender to trivial distractions or aimless scrolling is a quiet surrender of the life you truly want. Most people aren't lazy, they're just experts at quietly losing track of their time. Their days leak away, drip by drip, into activities that offer no real return. Carl Jung warned us, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Your time and your attention are among the most valuable resources you possess, yet how often do you treat them as disposable? How many small interruptions, harmless at first glance, gradually erode the very foundations of your dreams? Understand, this isn't about relentless hustle or endlessly pushing yourself into exhaustion. This is about reclaiming sovereignty, taking back control of the hours and minutes that define your life. Ask yourself honestly, who really owns your day? Is it you, or is it every passing impulse, every trivial notification, every random thought begging for your attention? If you don't actively defend your focus, distractions will effortlessly conquer it. Plato once said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Begin that conquest by structuring your days intentionally. Design your life thoughtfully. Create moments of uninterrupted focus. Protect deep work as something sacred, and honor periods of quiet reflection as non-negotiable." This is how you craft a life with intention, purpose, and clarity. But why stop at simply structuring your days? Why not raise the bar higher? Why not elevate your standards? Not eventually, not someday, but right now. Because here's a powerful truth: your standards define the limits of your potential. Aristotle believed that the purpose of life is the realization of excellence. If you demand excellence, excellence emerges. If you accept mediocrity, mediocrity becomes your reality. So ask yourself this deeply: are your current standards truly worthy of the life you envision? Or is it time to redefine them entirely? While others are still carefully laying plans, hesitating and waiting for the perfect moment, you're already in motion. You're already putting your mark on the world. While they calculate risks and weigh every possible outcome, you're boldly creating outcomes of your own. Because here's the truth they haven't realized yet: life rewards motion, not contemplation. It favors those who take action, those who push forward, even when certainty isn't guaranteed. You see, confidence isn't quietly cultivated through endless contemplation or theoretical analysis. It's forged in action, born from repeatedly stepping into uncertainty and discovering that you can handle whatever comes your way. Aristotle famously said, "Courage is the first of human qualities, because it is the quality which guarantees the others." When you step into action, courage and confidence follow. You don't need more preparation. You need fewer excuses, fewer hesitations, fewer moments of doubt. Every second spent hesitating is a second surrendered to fear, while every moment spent moving forward reinforces your strength. Carl Jung wisely observed, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Every day you're either reinforcing your personal power or feeding your weaknesses. Every choice you make, however small it seems in the moment, is casting a powerful vote toward the person you're becoming. Your habits, your routines, even the seemingly insignificant decisions you make throughout the day, all add up. Each one pushes you closer to your ideal self or drags you further away. So ask yourself, which direction did you move today? And since every action counts, why not move decisively, swiftly, and with purpose? Plato believed deeply in the principle that human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. Align these three elements and let them propel you forward. Move with an unrelenting hunger. Move with a sense of obsession. Not reckless obsession, but the kind that clarifies and energizes your every action, making distractions feel meaningless. When you move like this, hesitation no longer controls you. Fear doesn't define your decisions. Momentum takes over, and momentum is the most unstoppable force there is. If you commit to this level of intensity and clarity for the next 6 months, you won't recognize the person you used to be. Think about that. The hesitant version of you, the one who used to delay, stall, and second guess, will become a distant memory. Instead, you'll move with purpose. You'll speak with conviction. You'll think clearly, precisely, in full sentences, rather than the fragmented phrases of doubt and indecision. The fog of uncertainty will lift, replaced by a vibrant clarity of mind, body, and spirit. Perhaps the most profound transformation, though, is that when you look back, it won't be pride you feel. It'll be gratitude. Not gratitude for the achievements or the accolades, though those will surely come, but gratitude for that singular moment of decision, the decision you made today, to finally act, to finally commit, to finally refuse to be defined by hesitation. Because this moment right now isn't the conclusion of anything. It's not the finish line. This is ignition. It's a spark lighting the fire of everything you're about to become. The person you're transforming into doesn't live in dreams or hypothetical scenarios anymore. They're not theoretical or imaginary. They're real. They exist right now, in this very moment. As Socrates famously said, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And now, you've built something new, something powerful, something authentic. The only question left is, what will you do with it? How will you show the world who you've finally allowed yourself to become? Remember, life doesn't reward what you know, it rewards what you do. Thank you for being part of Stoic Journal, for choosing to build your life intentionally. If these ideas resonated, dive deeper with one of the videos suggested on your screen now. Keep cultivating wisdom, keep challenging yourself, and I'll see you right here again soon.